Hi everyone and welcome to week 5. I'm going to go ahead and take you through the walkthrough for the week and get you comfortable with the information. Also take some notes as I modified some of the thumbnails as I usually do to make it a little bit more watered down as far as that. So this past week you were all finishing up your, you had your digital ad plan. So I think a majority, I already kind of perused through some of the submissions. A lot of you chose Instagram and Facebook, so you did the 3 digital ads, so the Instagram story, and then 2 and 3 were the ads supporting that story. Like I said, I think most of you picked Facebook and Instagram for those. So we finished that up, and then the print ad was the direct mailer. So most of you chose, I think everyone's brand was matching there, but I did let you step away from the bus graphic if you didn't want to do that for the whole semester, and I'm going to do that this week too because this would be a great connecting project. So this week, the kind of unrelated thing, the writing portion for the class is this week we're finishing up the network event presentation. We introduced this towards the beginning of the class, and then you had a couple of weeks to figure out if you were going to go to a real organization. I think most of you submitted ideas for online events, but either was fine. So this is the week that you'll be actually giving the write-up or the presentation on it. You can see it's due at the end of the week. So you'll be reflecting on the process. So you could do a written reflection, which is 200 to 500 words on the experience of the event. Or you could do a video reflection if you want to do, you could do a QuickTime review of it. A lot of people use either Canva or Spark, whatever you want to do as far as your presentation if you want to do video. And some of the things to make sure that you talk about, what was the event, use your best judgment on it, because I know there's some areas that's like, who did you meet? You might have not physically met a person and shook hands and gotten their business cards and things like that. But hopefully you found, let's just say there was a guest speaker that, you watched their event and maybe you connected with them. If you want to substitute their business card for their Instagram or something, so that I can understand what you learned from it, maybe who you met there. Because as you go down it under the deliverables, you'll see that there's some stuff on there under the rubric talking about the business cards and such. So you can use that instead if you didn't physically go and meet anyone or get to meet anyone in person. Use your best judgment on it, kind of put the work in and do your best there. Okay, so read through all of that. So the project this week is the outdoor and billboard ad, same thing. So you're going to be designing your first large media piece. I'm going to be modifying it to make it easier on you just because for portfolio, you're not going to be actually outputting this for a real billboard. So I'm going to help you kind of size it down so it doesn't kill your machine because, the file size will be so big. So you're going to be doing a billboard ad, very common, but a lot of times with a billboard, you can even Google this, common billboard ads, and you'll see they're huge, but they're designed at a very low DPI. For example, I did one not that far long ago. I did it and it was full size, so it was in feet. So it was a huge Photoshop document, and then I designed it at 12 DPI. So such a tiny DPI, but you're seeing it at such a far distance that you are not necessarily, it's you're designing it, but you're not going to see it unless you're in a car driving by. So it really depends on the printer as far as the size that you would ever have to really do this. And then there's digital billboards, depends what you're doing. Whoever the printer is will always tell you what specifics you need to do. So you are, this would be a great one to connect with the last projects that you guys just finished. So for example, if you picked Starbucks or I think someone picked an outdoor brand like Patagonia, this would be a great one to connect with the same project that you just wrapped up, to have it be a campaign piece, meaning it would feed off the same story that you did for your TikTok or your Instagram, and then you can continue that same campaign idea into your billboard if you wish. Okay, so as always go through the weekly resources, the topic 5. So you'll be doing the creative process to develop an outdoor or billboard ad that directs consumers to the brand's website or social media site. So, some kind of prompt to take them back to where you want to buy the product, where you want to buy the service, depends on what you did last week for your submission. I think there might have been like one person that continued on the bus graphic. Like if you really want to keep going down that route, like that's fine. We only have a few weeks left. But this is, again, a great opportunity to connect with the last submission that you guys just entered. So you're working on that brand. So it's called Out of Home Advertising, and it's supposed to be a 14-inch, a 14 by 48 document. So if you want to size this in half, that'll probably be easier on your machines. So if you want to cut it in half and say you want it to be 12 by 24, again, like 12 by 24, that's completely fine for your document submission, because this is a very big file. You could see the size, and then it has to be 300 DPI and CMYK. It doesn't really matter what you do it in. For something like this, honestly, I'd use Photoshop. That's what I've used in the past for me, because most of the time when you're exporting it, they want a PDF or a JPEG. Like I've done large scale graphics in InDesign as well. It's one of the most supported softwares. I mean, again, it just depends what your printer is asking for, so you kind of have to know everything as far as the software. So if you want to size it down 12 by 24, that's completely fine. So you'll be doing the out of home design for your billboard. Let's see, we talked about topic number 5. So these are all outside usually. They could be a bus graphic if you want it to be that. You could also work with that if you felt that would work better for your brand. If you don't think a billboard will specifically work for your brand, definitely you could do a bus graphic like you've seen up until now. Like all the research for the first part of the bus project really had mostly like those, the bus stop graphics. If you rather do something like that than a billboard, that's completely fine with me. Whatever you want to make sense with the brand that you chose. Okay. So you'll be going back to, your creative brief and your style guide for the project. And for this one, it says again, 10 thumbnails for it. 2, I'm fine with that. 2 good thumbnails. Like, don't draw like a square and it not look like I can decipher what exactly you're posting. Just do 2 solid thumbnails for the outdoor media. Okay. And then it talks about like rewriting some of the copy. Like some of you might not even need to rewrite the copy because you already have an existing tagline. Like if you think the tagline needs more work for the outdoor thing, you can do that, but don't feel like you have to like have 10 brand new like slogans or anything like that. You don't need that. So 2 solid thumbnails. Okay. And then your printer file. So I'm going to be able to see like your high resolution file for this, which again, if you need to water down the size to make it manageable, that's totally fine with all of the stuff in there that you're going to need. Okay. The discussion this week here where it talks about post your 10 thumbnails, post the 2, like that's completely fine. Again, 2. And then the next discussion question has, specifically to do with target audience. It's not to do with work or anything like that we've been doing. Okay? I hope you have a good week. Thank you so much.